And with the latest on the leadership turmoil, Liberal staffer Dan Ilic joins me from the Liberal Party headquarters. Dan, despite electing new leadership, people say the Liberals are still divided.
Well, nothing could be further from the truth, Veronica. We want all Australians to know that, sure, it's been a tough few weeks here at the Liberal Party, and yes, we've had our disagreements, but we want you to know that's just made us even more united. We fully back Tony Abbott to go to the next election, to fight Kevin Rudd and to win. So, Prime Minister Rudd, if you're listening, look out, the Liberals are back.
Tonight on The Beast, welcome to the biggest company you've never heard of.
Serco are so good at running things, they even run time itself.
The shocking truth about mad cow disease and the threat of a zombie apocalypse.
Symptoms include blurred vision, lack of coordination, delirium, speech impediment, personality changes.
And what does Christmas mean for the homeless?
I think the hardest thing about my life is not having a great deal of love in my life. Because, love's the foundation of life, and if you don't have any love in your life, then you're doomed.
It's Your Week remixed. But first, a quick visit to wonderful Copenhagen.
The UN Climate Change Conference in Copenhagen starts this week, which got me thinking. It's been 12 years since the world's leaders last met in Kyoto. That means Copenhagen will be kind of like a school reunion. How does that work? Well, imagine I'm Australia and come with me. Welcome to Copenhagen 2009. Even though it's been more than a decade, it seems like nothing has changed. There'll be the really boring guy I'm trying to avoid. An old mate will trap me for an emotional D&M that'll go on forever.
I used to be school captain around here, but nobody cares anymore.
I'll try and get it on with a girl who used to be ugly but is now a smoking hot babe.
I know a bit of Mandarin myself. Yeah, che, shi wa, huing hua.
I'll suck up to the school bully because even though he's losing his hair, he can still beat me up.
Yo, Austria, how you going, buddy? You're like... Austria, right?
And yes, he'll forget who I am. There'll be loads of bad photos. And bad speeches.
How are you? Very good, very good. Would you like to come to visit my country? Yeah, very welcome, very welcome.
Towards the end of the reunion, everyone will be a little bit tired and emotional. The girl I tried to hook up with will go home with someone else. A bunch of losers will hit me up for cash.
Australia, give me $20, bro.
Oh, I don't have...
Come on, bro. Give me $20. Come on, bro.
I'll just get my...
Dickhead.
The rest of us will make a bunch of empty promises to meet up and do it all again sometime soonish.
Yeah, man, we should totally catch up. Give me your phone. Give me your phone. I'm going to put my number in your phone. We're going to catch up.
Then we'll all head home with nothing to show for it but a sick feeling in our stomachs and the hope that the world will still respect us in the morning, which somehow seems highly unlikely.
Said this week.
You can leer at the 16-year-old as you would an adult woman, so long as you're ignorant. Once you become aware of their age, you must look away. Mike Jennings, writer for Surf Magazine's Stab, on the controversy surrounding a 16-year-old girl posing nude on the cover. Sydney Morning Herald, November 26th, 2009.
The World Trade Centre was hit by 2 planes. Turn on the TV if can. P.S. The furniture arrived and looks great. Iris. One of more than 500,000 confidential pager messages sent on September 11, 2001, released by WikiLeaks. WikiLeaks.org, November 25th, 2009.
This ETS will also fundamentally change the way our legal system operates.
It reverses some important legal concepts such as presumption of innocence, the right to remain silent, the burden of proof and protection from self-incrimination. This alone should have the civil libertarians up in arms. Corey Bernardi, Liberal Senator, South Australia. The Sun Herald, November 29th, 2009.
It's the Hungry Beast, A to Z of fake. Part 3, R to Z. So far, we've had everything from fake hymens to a fake lesbian city. Is there nothing that's real? What about reality? Well, no, because R is for fake reality show. In September, Turkish military police stormed an Istanbul villa to rescue 9 women who thought they were on a reality show. But it was actually a big, sleazy scam. The women were held captive for over 2 months and didn't know naked images of them were being posted online. What a blow to the classy image of reality TV. From TV to Twitter. In March, a web prankster impersonating Communications Minister Stephen Conroy was outed as Telstra employee Leslie Nasser, who lampooned the government's proposed mandatory internet filtering scheme. Leslie was sacked from Telstra as a result, but fake Stephen tweets on. Now back to nature. Check out these fake trees. They're actually used to disguise cell phone towers in the US, but that won't stop someone logging them. So much awesome fake stuff, but this'd have to be my favourite. A pair of fake dirty undies to store your valuables in. If you were a thief, would you go there? The world's first skid mark safe. Brilliant. On a much larger scale, here's a fake village. Known as Propaganda Village, Keogh lies at the North Korean border, but no one lives there. It was only built to project the image to South Korea that the North is rich and prosperous. Just another piece of weirdness from the magical world of Kim Jong-il. If you're thinking of taking the piss, look no further. The Wizinator here is a lifelike device that allows drug cheats to emit clean, warm urine instead of their own. In May 2005, an American gridiron player was caught with one, which resulted in his suspension. Pity, because the Wizinator sounds like a great thing to advertise on late-night TV. What could be fake with an X? Try this. In June, a Korean man was arrested for selling fake X-ray glasses online for around $520 each. As if you couldn't see through that scam. I wish I didn't say that. Why, you ask? Fake youth. Madonna here is 51 years old, going on 19. Her breasts are even younger. Tragic. Which brings us to the end of all things fake. And who knew things might not be all that they seem in the Middle East? Zebras are so hard to come by in Gaza that in October, a Palestinian zookeeper painted a couple of donkeys to look like his dead zebras. So there you have it. The A to Z of fake, brought to you by the brand you can trust. Hungry Beast.
Proudly sponsored by the Leben Institute.
Scientists agree Asians are everywhere. It's true. But there's one place Asians aren't, and that's on Australian TV. Australians of Asian ancestry make up around 10% of the population, yet the only Asians at the Logies are pouring drinks or cleaning up afterwards.
What about me?
Just a Diet Coke, thanks. It seems that the only time Asians are allowed to be on TV is when they're playing geeks, being rescued from the surf, being arrested at the airport, or cooking Asian food. Here at Hungry Beast, we have a very pro-Oriental hiring policy. For instance, out of the 19 people that got hired to work on our show, Luke is our Asian. He's very good with computers. So isn't it about time Asians had their time to shine?
Hello.
Just pop it there, thanks. No Asians on Australian TV. That's a little bit bullshit.
Jerk.
Each night, at least 100,000 Australians are homeless, from sleeping rough on the street to staying in temporary or unstable accommodation. For most of us, the idea of homelessness is the hopeless alcoholic on the street. But in reality, the reasons people end up caught in what seems the constant cycle of living homeless are as varied as the people themselves.
I've been living on the streets. I've lived in Flinders Ferry train station for 2 years. I went into cross accommodation, mates' places, backpackers.
Well, at the moment, right, I've been staying with a friend. I've been trying to integrate myself into a place. There are some nights I stay there and some nights I don't. I sleep out. I just really find it so difficult about it because I've been living out for so long.
I was living with my sister. I decided that once baby was born, I wanted to move out and do my own thing because I always depended on her.
I've been all over Australia being homeless. I've been in Brisbane, Sydney, I even went to Tassie.
I come from a family where at the time I had five brothers, and I was taken away from my parents when I was 3 months old and made a ward of estate. My parents were alcoholics and weren't able to take care of me, so the government stepped in and took me away.
We started going back into the Department of Housing, getting the temporary accommodation, and they said there was no more help they could do for us, so was there any family at all that we could stay with?
The reason I became homeless was I fell in love with someone. I thought she was the one. Moved over to Melbourne to be with her, and she left me sitting at the airport. Homeless, in my terms, is having no stable accommodation.
And I found myself sort of lost, I suppose, and I think over the years I purposely got myself in for trouble, just so I could go to jail, where I could have, at least I had a bed and somewhere to stay, you know what I mean? And that went on for some years, and then I realised there was no future in that, you know what I mean? There was just none at all.
I stayed with his mum for about 3 weeks, and I started causing dramas because she's an old lady, she's sick as well, so she didn't like baby running in and out.
I was one of those people that turn around and go, yeah, that's never going to happen to me. I'm never going to hit the streets. I'm smarter than that. And then when it actually happened to me, that really hit me. I didn't know what to do. It was almost like my life had just collapsed around me.
It hasn't been a happy life, but I haven't sat there and dwelled and felt sorry for myself, because like I said, I consider myself, considering where I come from, I'm pretty lucky to be here. You know what I mean? So, yeah.
I shouldn't be in a refuge. I should be in a house. You want to at least say you have a house. People look at you and you don't want no one to know. You don't tell nobody. You act normal. You dress normal.
I think the hardest thing about my life is not having a great deal of love in my life. Because, love's the foundation of life. And if you don't have any love in your life, you're doomed. You really are.
Like half of my family don't even know what I'm going through because I choose not to tell them. It's just, I don't know, respect for myself, I suppose, my dignity.
You don't have to ask them if they need help. You can just look in their faces and you can see these people need help. But most people just walk past them if they don't exist.
This Christmas, I'm attending a lot of the homeless functions.
I think I might go down to the Nuns and have some Christmas lunch, because they do put on a good lunch. When I grew up being in boys' homes, at Christmas we were pretty poor. Even my birthday's I've never had a birthday present.
I wish there was a private rental agency that would just say, look, Merry Christmas, we'll give you a lease, every 3 months, try you out. And if we don't damage it, let us stay there,
I look forward to the day where I can actually say, yeah, this is my home. This is where I live.
According to the US National Security Advisor, there are only 100 Al-Qaeda members operating in Afghanistan. Harper's Magazine. Since Obama became president, he has said unprecedented 129 times in speeches. President Bush said it only 262 times over 8 years. Politico.com. It is estimated that a week's worth of the New York Times contains more information than a person was likely to come across in a lifetime in the 18th century. Homepage Daily.
Zombies. We've all seen the movies and comics. But what if they were real? They are. Where will the virus come from? The sky? A lab? Or your dinner? Creutzfeldt-Jakob disease, or CJD, the human variant of mad cow disease, transferred by consumption of mad cow steak. It's possible it could mutate to become a zombie virus.
Symptoms include blurred vision, lack of coordination, delirium, speech impediment, personality changes.
The hallmarks of zombification.
In fact, in 1997, several men from Kentucky were believed to have been infected with CJD after consuming squirrel brains. Sound familiar?
Once infected, you rapidly progress from disability to death.
Is undeath the next step?
150 people worldwide have already been infected with CJD, with a suspected 120,000 cases undiagnosed.
All it will take is for one of those cases to mutate into zombies.
And we all know what happens then.
Think it can't happen? Think again!
Clinical studies conducted by Canadian mathematicians have modelled the spread of a potential zombie outbreak, and the conclusions are not good.
Their model shows a population the size of Tasmania would be wiped out in less than a week. Larger, dense areas even quicker.
If the Canadian model were true, how would our government react?
We contacted the CSIRO and the Department of Health and Defence for their official position on a zombie outbreak.
Their response was less than comforting.
Professor Robert Smith, spelt with a question mark, of the University of Ottawa, had this to say about the zombie outbreak.
Only sufficiently frequent attacks with increasing force will result in eradication, assuming the available resources can be mustered in time.
Can we muster this much power in time? ANU defence analyst Professor Carlisle Thayer approximates it would take 15 hours for our American allies to retarget a nuke to take out a zombified Australian city. In that time, we'd be overrun by the undead.
A sobering thought.
If the zombie apocalypse were to happen,
the government would have no plan.
The church would have no answers.
And the living would have no chance.
Unless you take survival into your own hands. Here's how. 1. Get supplies. You'll need food and water, so stock up on canned goods and seeded fruits or vegetables.
The zombocalypse is like a German opera. It won't end quickly, so don't bring anything with an expiry date.
2. Grab a weapon, remain armed and you won't be harmed. Don't rely on fuel or ammo.
Try a cricket bat, axe,
or sock full of pennies. 3. Form a group of survivors.
The obese and infirmed are a good choice. They're easily dominated and make for good zombie fodder,
allowing the rest of you to make a quick getaway.
And last of all, get the fuck out of town. But where do you go? After careful consideration, we can reveal the safest place will be here. Cooktown!
With its sparse population and coastal border, it'll be easily defendable from attack.
We contacted Peter Scott, the mayor of Cooktown, who had this to say.
We would welcome the influx of tourists, hoping to get a head start on the zombie apocalypse. We want good quality people, no zombies.
The evidence is all there. The zombie apocalypse is as inevitable as zombies themselves.
Remember, when there's no more room in hell,
there's always room in Cooktown.
Good night and good luck.
The riot by asylum seekers at the Immigration Detention Centre on Christmas Island a couple of weeks ago raised questions about how detainees were being handled. The Minister for Immigration, Chris Evans, said he was comfortable with the way the detention centre was being managed. But who is actually managing it? Well, not the Department of Immigration. Earlier this year, the Rudd government outsourced the operation of Christmas Island and other detention centres to a British company with an interesting track record.
This is the Serco Group. They run all 7 immigration detention centres in Australia, but they do lots more. In fact, they're probably the biggest company you've never heard of. Governments all around the world outsource to Serco. They run half of London's traffic lights, all of Dublin's, and in Ontario, Canada, they test you for your driver's licence. Serco are also the largest air traffic controllers in the world. They've got 54 towers in the US, and they control Baghdad's air traffic. They even maintain the RAF squadron the Queen flies on. All over the planet, Serco are moving people, from metros in Dubai to buses in Adelaide. And they're good at stopping people from moving too. Serco will soon be the largest operator of private prisons in the UK, and they're very efficient at it. In one prison, they increase capacity by 20% simply by putting beds in the toilets. In another Serco prison, a 14-year-old hanged himself after being assaulted by Serco guards, the UK's youngest ever death in custody. But don't think Serco aren't good with kids. In Bradford, they run all the state schools in the district. Serco is the model of a modern multinational, and that's why they're the right company to keep us safe. They've been running the UK's ballistic missile defence system ever since it was outsourced 40 years ago. In fact, they look after Britain's entire nuclear arsenal, from creation to decommissioning. But wait, there's more. Serco are so good at running things, they even run time itself. That's right, Serco have the contract for setting Greenwich Mean Time. And Serco just keep getting bigger. Since 1994, they've grown by 1,200%. How have they been so successful? CEO Chris Hyman puts his success with Serco down to listening to God. Now, you might think things like nuclear arsenals and border protection are best handled by the government, but that's not a problem for Serco because about 85% of their workforce are ex-public servants, so they have all the training and connections necessary to handle big government contracts. In Australia, Serco have a presence on every military base, run every immigration detention centre, 2 prisons, cross-country trains like the Indian Pacific and the GAN, and they're bidding on more contracts right now, including one to run prisons across New South Wales. So, even if you don't know their name, chances are you're caught in their web. Serco, bringing service to life.
Follow the money. $1.42. The price of a dish at the world's cheapest Michelin-starred restaurant, a hole-in-the-wall dumpling house in Hong Kong. $14 million. The cost of a new war room being built underneath Australia's Parliament House. It will be similar to the Situation Room used by US President Obama. Construction starts next week. $2 billion. The amount of GST money the Northern Territory government has underspent on Indigenous health, homelessness and other services in the last 5 years. Instead, money was overspent on superannuation for public servants and paying off government debt.
Last week marked the 150th anniversary of the publication of Charles Darwin's book Origin of Species.
Ah, my favourite anniversary of a seminal piece of scientific literature.
Mine too. And this year it was especially special because of evangelist Ray Comfort.
Now, if you don't know Ray, he's the guy that thinks the banana proves God exists, as shown in this high-quality video.
Behold, the atheist's nightmare. The banana and the hand are perfectly made one for the other. Almighty God has made it with a non-slip surface.
Tastes like faith in God.
Now, if you look back at that video, you'll notice that sitting next to Ray is Kirk Cameron, star of 1980s sitcom Growing Pains. Now, Kirk has issues with Charles Darwin's book. Why?
An entire generation is being brainwashed by atheistic evolution without even hearing the alternative, and it's radically changing the culture of our nation.
Fair call. Luckily, Kirk and Ray found out the Origin of Species is in the public domain and came up with a cunning plan.
And when my friend Ray Comfort heard about this, he actually wrote a 50-page introduction for the book, which gives the history of evolution, a timeline of Darwin's life, Adolf Hitler's undeniable connection with the theory, Darwin's racism, his disdain for women, and Darwin's thoughts on the existence of God, and put them in the book.
Now, what Kirk and Ray have decided to do is give away 50,000 copies of their special version of Origin of Species to students so they can learn the right way of thinking, the Jesus way.
Now, Lewis and I think this makes perfect sense. They've got the right idea, but are going about it all the wrong way.
Students don't read textbooks. If you want to teach them about creationism and God, you need to give them stuff they're actually interested in.
So here we are at university. Hello, future leaders of the world.
It's time to get enlightened.
Blood of Christ beer, come and get it! Blood of Christ beer with God trivia on the lid. God created the world in 6 days. What did he do on the 7th?
Chilled out?
Like a pimp. Bam! Yeah,
get a little salvation in you. But it wasn't really enough. We needed to get the message of God and creationism out.
And what better way than with the story of Adam and Eve?
Who wants porn? Sexy, sweaty porn! Covered in the word of our Lord, Jesus Christ. Get some original sin.
Love thy neighbour with thine rod and thine staff.
You've heard of the good book. Get involved with the better book, my friends.
The students seemed to love the porn and found the words of Christ moving.
This is really moving shit.
Man, this is working really well.
Yeah, but it could be working better.
Who do we believe in?
Well, that's it for Hungry Beast in 2009. We'll be back with more stories.
And asymmetrical hair.
In 2010.
We want to say a huge thank you to the hundreds of people who got involved on our online forum about refugees after the show last week. If you still want to check it out, you can. It's all on the Hungry Beast website.
And a big thank you to everybody who joined us online in the Hungry Beast community. There's going to be heaps more chances for you to contribute your own stuff on the website and TV next year. Stuff that might look a little bit like this.
This is stuff you made, created from stories you posted on the Hungry Beast website. Hungry Beast member Ross Hipwell posted his video of a protest against the federal government's Northern Territory intervention.
We're in the dark. Our rights have been taken away completely. We have never been consulted by a so-called educated parliament.
Become a member of Hungry Beast Online and share your ideas and video stories with us at abc.net.au/hungrybeast.
During the break, you'll still be able to upload your stories and make comments on the Hungry Beast website.
As for the Beast, well, she doesn't believe in taking a break over Christmas, so she'll still be tweeting away.
Which is a remarkable achievement for an animal without opposable thumbs. And on that explosive bombshell,
good night.
Next year on Hungry Beast, just how easy is it to get a dirty bomb into Australia?
This shit was so fucking easy, we just downloaded a few similar instructions off the internet.
We examine the effect of a dangerous cocktail of drugs on this cute puppy.
Sure, this puppy's cute, but will it be cuter off its tits?
And we strap sick kids to lie detectors, wearing blackface, while members of the Australian women's netball team take their photo. That's Hungry Beast in 2010.